when it comes to the importance of perspectives, they're huge, because your perspective or your perception is the lens through which you see the world. So if it's your lens through which you see the world, then that's kind of the set of beliefs and thoughts and aspirations and all those things. Your decisions go through that lens. So if you have a really positive view of the world, you feel like anything can happen, you feel aligned with your higher self, you have a good balance between your mind, your body, and your soul, then you're going to view the world really positively. And then that perspective is going to hold you in an energetic state of being that's going to draw in the physical reality that you're desiring. And conversely, when we have a perspective and hold a perception that the world is a scary place, or that, you know what, either you're born with it or not, or some people just get to live good lives and others don't. Well, then you live in that world. And then you see the world through those glasses, and you feel the feelings that someone in that type of world would feel. The challenge really comes into play when we want to assign that positive perspective, but we live in a world where all things can happen. So that's where it becomes really important, and that's where it becomes a choice. Because the universe isn't going to give you a reason. Like, the universe isn't going to suddenly become perfect, and then the universe is going to shift to then meet your perception of whatever is good or bad. So we really need to leverage our superpower and say, I live in a world where bad things can happen. However, I am choosing love. I am choosing to live in a positive perspective, because I know that will always protect me, and I know that it is always going to keep me aligned and moving in the directions of things that I desire. Cultural and societal norms, when it comes to our perceptions, they can really enrich it. Being connected in communities and with each other is really important. It's what we're here for. We're here to live out stories with each other. And the challenge becomes in creating balance and boundaries. And it's about enjoying a community dynamic as much as you want to enjoy that and incorporate that into your experience. And at the same time, balancing it with the experience you want to have as an individual. Because oftentimes there can become some conflict and some problems when you may want to go in a different direction, and that doesn't fall into line with whatever the norms are for that particular group. So it's really important to kind of look at it from a twofold perspective, in that looking at community and society as a way to really enrich your experience, but then also taking into consideration what you want as an individual, and ideally following what you want as an individual, and recognizing that the path that you take to who you are might mean at some point that you're in a different community or in a different situation as it relates to the important relationships in your life. It's based on your feelings. So knowing that you are in the right perspective is something that only you are going to know. And it's not this outside thing as far as I'm in, the right perspective. It's your feelings being aligned with the perspective that you're in. And if there's an aspect of your reality that you don't feel good about, then it's probably time to take a look at your perspective and how you're looking at things. It's being willing to test it out. It's being willing to then, that's the part of the manifestation process, and that's where shifting your perception and all that inner work that we talk about is so important, is because your perception of what you think you can have is actually reality. Your perception is reality. So it's not about what perception do I attach to, and you're looking to the outside for it, you're looking to the inside for that. Because you want to know what it is you want so that you can then attach to that perception that's going to then get you to that reality. Because the reality you want is different than the reality that everybody else wants. That's why it's such an individualized process. And that's why it's very hard for us to all reach this point, because we're all trying to go down the same road. When you make your own road, you walk down your own road, because it's your own different reality that you're headed to. So I think that's a really important way of looking at it when you're, struggling with how to balance those perspectives. Your opinion of yourself should always outrank the opinions of others. And when it comes to integrating feedback from other people, we need to make sure that the quality of that feedback's real good, meaning that whatever that perception is being communicated to us with love, because then we can trust it. Then we know that it's coming from a place of, again, maybe it's an area that we might need to look at that we didn't notice or whatever. But before we allow other people's perceptions to shift the direction that we want to take, we have to first say, is this valuable or not? Is this really a perception, or is this them kind of just pushing their judgment or their thought or whatever onto us? So it's getting into a habit of, when someone offers you their perspective or their perception, we don't just immediately take it. We look at it, we evaluate it, and then we decide whether or not we're going to integrate it in.